Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at the Super Tandem abilities of all the legends in the game, putting them onto a tier list for you guys, and ranking all of them from the best to the rest. And like I said, in today's video, hopefully it'll help you guys understand where to use your Covenant tablets, what characters have the best Super Tandem, and where to spend them. Now, I do want to make note that Super Sugo's anniversary exclusive units and treasure map / Kazuna units are probably the only characters you want to use your tablets on, as if you use a tablet on a character and then pick them up through a regular ticket, it's going to be a bit of a yikes because these tablets are so hard to get. But we have so many units in the game that have Super Tandem. Now we have free-to-play units, we have exchangeable units, we obviously have legends, Super Sugos, anniversaries, Kazunas, and treasure map units alike. So if you enjoyed the video, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button. Just remember, this is my personal opinion playing the game and what I believe is the best Super Tandem ability to max out and what characters to look for on particular banners. So if you enjoyed the video, like I said, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. In the comment section below, let me know who you guys think has the best Super Tandem ability. With that said, let's dive into the tier list. Alright, so I put together a tier list here, and if we scroll down, you'll see all the characters right here. We should have pretty much all of them. I believe I pretty much have all of them. Obviously, we have some of them that are cut off here. You've got Jack, Yori, Law there as well. So don't stress, I didn't really forget any of them. I just want to make sure that we have... Yeah, okay, whatever. I didn't forget any, don't stress. And yeah, here they all are. So what makes a Super Tandem ability before we dive in? Super Tandem is an ability that some characters have where they can tandem up with characters with other names. They also need to have a tandem orb. So this particular ability was once upon a time in the game, way back when, probably like the first year. It was called a tandem ability, and it's why tandem orbs were in the game. But then when we got to the 8th anniversary for these particular units right here, we got added in Super Tandem, which again brings back that tandem mechanic. We have particular characters that work together within the storyline or within a faction, obviously like Straw Hats, for example, or like the Beast Pirates with Kaido. They all work together. You build out a certain amount of characters on that particular team. You tap with the tandem orb, and you'll get an extra ability. Now, this Super Tandem ability can be stacked with every other buff in the game, but it cannot be stacked with another Super Tandem ability. For example, if you have an attack buff, and then use the Super Tandem that gives you an attack buff, these attack buffs will stack, which is crazy. However, if you use a Super Tandem ability to increase an attack buff you already have, and you've already increased that attack buff, the Super Tandem will then not buff that attack boost. So just be mindful of that when you are utilizing your Super Tandem abilities, when you are building out your teams, because that can be a little bit of a problem for some areas. But 99% of the time, you want to add a Super Tandem to your big damage teams, because 99% of the time, they are going to give you a lot more damage. So, as I mentioned, we have a tier list up here from 1 to 3, your top 3 best units, 4 to 10, 10 to 20, and then just the rest. I feel like if it's under top 20, we really don't care about it too much, right? So with that said, let's get started. I feel like Super Tandem abilities, they're so strange in the sense of what they do. And what's going to rank them, obviously, is the power of the Super Tandem, the accessibility with characters in the game, because that's a big part of the Super Tandem, and how easy it is to sort of trigger. So first of all, we have the first 2 Super Tandem units in the game. We have Super Tandem Luffy, and we have Super Tandem Kaido. Honestly, Kaido has dropped off drastically, and the big thing with Kaido was that he would increase the increased damage taken, which he would provide, which is very, very good, up to about 0.75. But nowadays, we have characters that can increase the the increased damage taken. So this ability, it was kind of lackluster. Plus, he's only built around striker characters. He only buffs striker characters. Can only be used on the final stage. Once upon a time, this was the strongest ability that we had, but nowadays, it's kind of fallen off. I'm going to put Luffy in the 11 to 20. He might drop into the rest. Main upside to Luffy is you can use him on any turn. You just need to have a Zoro or a Sanji, and then any other Straw Hat. Any of them need to have a Tandem Orb, which he can generate very, very easily with his special. He can lock them, which is great. And it's a 2.5 times attack boost to Free Spirit. Free Spirit being the best class in the game. Very, very good. Blackbeard, he's going to go to the rest. The problem with Blackbeard is he needs Blackbeard Pirates. There's just not enough of them in the game to make him worthwhile. Even with the 9.5, or what was it, the Worldwide Celebration, where we got a bunch more Blackbeards and Blackbeard units, and he's still whatever. Next, we got the trio of Sasaki, Who's Who, and Black Maria. God knows why these characters came to the game at the time they did. They did a triple legend release on an end-of-month banner. It was absolutely wild. All of them have Super Tandem. All of them are super class powerhouse units. And it was like, why? Like, why do these units exist? They each do an attack boost, Super Tandem attack boost, to Powerhouse, I believe. or it might be to Strength, Dex, and Quick. But then, or it might be actually to the opposite colors that they are. That's right. I think Sasaki does Quick and Strength, where Black Maria does like Strength and Dex, and then Who does Quick and it's so stupid. And then they each remove like 2 turns of a particular defensive effect, defense up, damage reduction, or threshold. They're bad units, don't even worry about them. They're regular legends, you'll rainbow them eventually, just don't even worry about it. Next we got Super Tandem Shanks, and Super Tandem Shanks I'm going to put up in a 4 to 10 for now. The upside to Shanks is that he only needs 1 unit to tap, and then you tap into Shanks, and you can activate the Super Tandem, which is just absolutely bonkers. It works for quick characters, and it's a 2.5 times attack boost. It can be used on any turn, and he has the ability to give you tandem balls very, very easily. He has been power crept quite a bit on the quick team, but like it's still ridiculous because like Luffy, Uta, Ben Beckman, Lucky Room, and Yasop were like the demons of that particular team. And that 2.5 times attack boost getting so easily was just ridiculously strong. Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo, they're still pretty good. Unfortunately, these 2 super tandems do clash because they both only need 1 unit. Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo is a little bit weaker in the sense that they do a 2 times attack boost, but they also include shooters, which is very nice, but shooters are definitely nowhere near the top echelons, and Quick has fallen off quite a bit in terms of like its prowess, and there's other super tandem units that just do it better. They also remove 1 turn of defense up, damage reduction, and threshold, I believe. So it's all 3 of the damage effects, which is actually really, really good. Nami, for now, I think we're going to leave Nami, because I think Nami's probably going to be in our top 3, so I don't want to touch on them just yet. But look, stay tuned to the end of the video, because we will come back to Nami. Whitebeard, look, there's not enough, again, just the same thing with Blackbeard, right? There's just not enough Whitebeard pirates in the game to make him work the way that you want him to work. Plus, he was power crept on Arrival, man. Like, he's not a good super tandem ability. Ace and Sabo, the anniversary exclusives for the Worldwide Celebration last year, both are okay. Ace, honestly, is just a bad unit. He needs a lot of his Spade Pirate characters. Obviously, they both have Ace, Sabo, Luffy, respective to whatever character we're talking about. But both of them are pretty mid. Sabo does burn, which is great, but it doesn't go through full immunity, which is a problem. The upside to Sabo is that you can use it every single turn. Ace has the ability to generate tandem orbs with his super class, I believe, where Sabo really doesn't have that kind of benefit, which is kind of annoying. Next, we've got Oden and Toki. Oden and Toki super tandem is actually pretty good. They can generate tandem orbs with their super swap, I believe, which is really, really nice. Plus, they have a lot of very good characters in it, like Momo's and Rogers and stuff like that. There's not a lot of characters that make them work super nicely, and they do clash with some of the other better super tandems in the game. However, they are still very, very good as they are built around slashes, and with Zoro Sanji just making everyone slashes, like, you can do some really, really crazy things there. Queen super tandem's not terrible. It's probably one of the better ones for the driven sort of era. Jack, King, and Queen, or Alba, they all pretty much have the same super tandem ability. I think King's might be just a little bit better. I don't exactly remember off the top of my head, but basically they all just do attack boost for driven characters. I believe they have some defensive effects in there somewhere, but look, all of them are just kind of okay. It's just that Driven doesn't really have any crazy super tandem abilities. Plus that Beast Pirate team, where you could run versus Kaido, that's where this sort of character would really shine the most. Plus, if you put them all together, you could kind of just like utilize a super tandem of whichever one you had the highest ability for. So that always worked really, really nicely. Next, we've got the Reverie Girls. The Reverie Girls, they suck. They're so bad. They're such a bad unit. Their super tandem's not good at all. It's just, it is what it is. They make rainbow orbs and then they give themselves a tandem orb. It's kind of sucky. Next, we've got Momo. Momo, very similar to Oden and Toki. Very good super tandem ability that you can use every single turn. Problem is the characters that Momo has, they're just not exactly characters that are popping up on majority of those teams. Plus, the characters that do pop up, they just have better super tandem abilities. And they sort of clash with like Luffy's and whatnot as well. Reiju sucks. Like, Reiju's just bad. I think Sanji's pretty much the only viable character for her super tandem. You could use obviously the other brothers and Judge and shit, but like no one cares. Like, their super tandem sucks. Their super tandem's so bad. Next, we got Uta. Uta's actually got a really, really good super tandem. She does a attack boost to Psy Free Spirit, I believe, which is very, very strong, and it only needs 1 tap. So, like, if you partner up with some sort of Shanks or anything like that, the 9.5 anniversary Shanks is probably her best friend. Or the new 10th anniversary Super Sugo Shanks, you can do some fun stuff there. I don't think she's as good as what Super Tandem Shanks is doing, but, like, she's still got a very, very good Super Tandem nonetheless. And like I said, the characters that she has at her disposal, being all of the redhead pirates, and then obviously Luffy, it's very, very nice. Next, you got Iron. Iron's pretty bad. You kind of need to use Zeph with this character. I pulled her on a discount, like after her Kazuna banner. I don't think I've leveled her up. Like she's bad. Like she's so bad. Next, you got the 9.5 anniversary Shanks. 9.5 anniversary Shanks is actually pretty good, but he's sort of built around chain multiplicative, which does hinder the character just a little bit. It's all about adding an extra multiplicative buff, which you remember will stack on top of other multiplicative buffs. I believe he does have an attack boost, but it's only like a 1.5 or a 1.75. It's actually really, really low, because it's the big gimmick of the character is just built up around chain. Very similar to what Ace's Super Tandem actually is as well, but Shanks' is just way easier to get, because a lot of these other sort of high-end units, mainly like stuff like Sop really is what carries this, and then like this Uta, and obviously all the other Utas being a cerebral unit as well. So he's very, very good, but just like I said, a unit that doesn't have too much going for them besides sort of chain stuff does really hinder what the character is trying to do. Next, you got Hiyori. Hiyori's... I actually haven't even read what Hiyori does. Yeah, so sorry, Shanks does Psi, Strength, Cerebral, Free Spirit by 1.5, so it's a really, really low attack boost, but look, it's still good because it does that 1.5 times chain buff in there, which definitely can see some play here and there. As I mentioned, we have Hiyori. I haven't even looked at what Hiyori does. Very similar to what Momo and Odin have in terms of the requirements. She's going to do some fun stuff there, but I believe she does something to do with the tap, the final tap ability, adding into that, but then she doesn't really do all that much else. I think she has like a really, really low attack boost too, which is kind of shitty. Like, you want these attack boosts to be higher and not really buy into all these other gimmicks. But she's a regular legend, so that's an easy way to buff her up. Next, we've got Kobe. Kobe, I'm going to put at the back end of this top 10. He might drop down. Kobe has potential to be really, really good. He has a lot of very good characters on his list. Obviously, he has all the Straw Hats, which makes it very easy. But basically, what he'll do is he'll increase the chain multiplier by 1.5, just like Shanks. But he'll also add 1500 base stats into the user that does a final tap. So if we want, like, down the line, get like a crazy-ass strength unit that has final tap, we have, obviously, the Strength Luffy, but the way Strength Luffy works is he takes all the damage from the rest of the units and adds it into a final tap. But if we have something like a Yamato ability for like a strength character, like this could be crazy. And obviously if you use something like Luffy Yamato, this could definitely work. Getting that chain multiplicative, having that last unit hit ridiculously hard, it does work dividends for what Kobe's actually trying to do. The problem with Kobe right now is that we don't really have a crazy strength unit that has that sort of final tap ability that can kind of send his damage to the absolute realm. So yeah, that's the big thing with him. I'm actually going to put Odin and Turkey's a little bit higher because I believe Odin and Turkey's a 2.5 times attack boost. Now that I'm really thinking about it, they also do something. They actually increase something too. What do they do? I think they do color affinity because they're a color affinity booster. I don't know what the number is, but I'm pretty sure they increase color affinity too, which can synergize well with their actual special, which is really, really nice. Next, we've got Otama. I don't actually have Otama, just like Reiju, but the problem with Otama is... Well, actually, Otama had some pretty good synergy with Big Mom and stuff like that. So I feel like you could do some really, really fun stuff with Otama. She's a Kazuna legend, which does make it a little bit hard for people to max her out and actually get her going. And I feel like most of the Dex teams that you're building out don't involve the powerhouse sort of shenanigans that Otama would actually entail. So I'm going to put her in the rest for now, but if you guys are using Otama, if you guys have her leveled up and whatnot, let me know down below, because I'd love to know if she's worthwhile as a unit. I'm going to drop Uta down here as well, because I think Momo's a bit higher as well. Yeah, I think that's probably a little bit more fair. Next we've got Kazuna, not Kazuna Boa, I should say. Not Kazuna Boa is actually really good as well. She's very much like Shanks, where she only has one unit that she needs to tap into to activate her ability. And she came out with Rayleigh. Rayleigh gives himself a Tandem Orb, the 6+ Rayleigh, so you can do some fun stuff there. And at level 5, I believe she does a conditional boost at 2.25, and then increases Cerebral and Free Spirit attack. But it's definitely lower than 2 times. This is really, really good if you guys can't find a way to squeeze another conditional boost on the team. However, the problem with her... I'm actually going to drop her down probably here. The problem with her... probably here. The problem with her, though, is that conditional boosts are so easy to put on a team. And if you don't have a way to double stack the conditional boost, like I said, it's going to... it's not really going to apply. Well, actually, it should apply because it's a tandem delay ability. So I don't know if this is a way to just like double stack set ability. I feel like it should. If it comes up with a super tandem to delay, because she does delay in her abilities, her super class I believe can delay, or maybe it's a special that delays through full immunity. So that could actually be really, really good. I'll put her at the back end of top 10 for now, but let me know down below if she can't be stacked with other conditional boosts. Because if you can use a delay boost and then like use a conditional for delay and then have her work as another delay and have this stack on top of it, like she'd be very, very good. I really, really don't think that's how it happens. I think the delay, it goes as another buff, but every other buff is a super tandem. It goes as a super tandem buff. Yeah, see, it says applies attack boost tandem, and then it just does boost. I'm going to put her here because from what I'm reading with the wording, it doesn't actually apply an extra buff on top of it, unless it says tandem in brackets for the actual character. So, bit of a shame there. Next, we've got Blackbeard. Blackbeard's super tandem is really good, but just like this Blackbeard, we are missing a lot of Blackbeard characters. However, we did get a lot of Blackbeard pirates for the celebration that he actually came with. He's probably the best attack boost for driven and powerhouse units. Where this guy here is only like 2 times. He can also increase the slot effect boost, which he actually does, which is nice. So, just like I said, the problem with Blackbeard is trying to squeeze him onto a team, get the super tandem, and then use like rushes of other characters as well. That doesn't take away from his super tandem ability. This Blackbeard here, I know I said that there's not enough Blackbeard characters in the game to synergize with him, because there is, but there isn't at the same time. The sense that in Blackbeard, his super tandem is just not worth trying to squeeze the rest of the Blackbeard pirates on, where this one actually definitely is. So I'm gonna put him in the top 10 just because he does a lot of damage. 2.5 times attack is crazy, and be able to increase that orb boost is really, really good too. And so we have the Tobi Roppo. Look, the Tobi Roppo, I don't even know why they released the Tobi Roppo. Hey, Tobi Roppo is actually probably Rush Kaido's best friend in terms of super tandem abilities. You have the lead performers who have a free-to-play version of what Tobi Roppo are trying to do. Tobi Roppo basically are looking at like a 2 times super tandem for driven and powerhouse characters rather than Blackbeard's 2.5 times, and then they have the ability to just remove all of those defensive effects that these particular Tobi Roppo were actually doing, these 3 here. So it's like they took these 3 units, put them into one, and just went, yeah, cool, here you go. But we're going to add six characters in instead of 3. So, like, they're just bad, man. Like, they're just bad. They're a bad unit. Next, we've got Stella. Stella has the potential to be very, very good. The problem with Stella is that unless you have everything maxed out for that sort of Vegapunk team, you're not really ever going to use said Vegapunk team. If you do get them maxed out at level 5 and you do have all of the Straw Hats or all of the Atlas, the Vegapunk units, you can do some fun stuff because he does a 2 times attack boost to cerebral characters, and then he also does something similar to what Kobe does, where he gives the extra 1,000 base stats to the final tap. Problem is, the final tap that you're using is Lilith, so he kind of suffers from the same problem that Kobe has. But at the same time, it's definitely not a bad ability, because when you can get it, it will, or like say you have a very good final tap character, because like you have Atlas, which is okay, but yeah, I feel like he's probably just on the cusp here of like the top 10 there. He has very good units that can obviously go into his super tandem. He can generate a tandem orb very easily, a tandem orb very nicely. It actually works very, very well. Next, we've got Law and Beppo. Law and Beppo are a newer character that probably not a lot of people have. Their super tandem works with the Heart Pirates, and that's pretty much about it, which is a huge problem to them. But they do have Luffy and Kid in it, as well as Corazon, which can help them out just a little bit. They generate tandem orbs very, very easily, and they do damage reduction, which can be fun for like damage reduction buffs. But like stereotypically, you're not really ever going to use this per se. But it is for 3 different types, Dex, Int, and 2 different types in a class. So we'll put them here. I think this should be like 11 to 30 to be honest, because yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, 2.25 tons attack boost. It can be good. They're regular legends, so you probably pick them up on tickets and whatnot as well. So that could be fun in the future. Next, we got Super Tandem Law. Super Tandem Law is very, very good. Very similar to Law and Beppo that we were just talking about. He does need something like a Luffy. He can use Kid, and then he can use, obviously, the Heart Pirates. His ability is awesome for the Grand Voyage. Very, very powerful character in that regard. He buffs Cerebral and Free Spirit characters, but it's only for 2 times. The upside to this unit is that he allows you to use 1 Cerebral or Free Spirit character, and then one of any of the following, being Beppo, Sachi, Penguin, Jinbart, Luffy, Corazon. So, the real fun thing to Law is you just have to find one of the Super Tandem characters and then use a character of any class, which makes him very, very good. Like, in a very, very easy Super Tandem to use, which is really, really nice. I'm going to bring you 2 down here, because we made this a little bit bigger. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. So, yeah, Law, very, very good Super Tandem. The character that came out with Law was Kid. Kid has a very similar Super Tandem in his regard, but the usefulness of Kid isn't as what Law's is. The problem with Kid is the Kid Pirates, for example, are a lot lower than what the Heart Pirates are, and Luffy is very hard to find a Luffy that goes on a Driven Striker team. So that's his big issue. He does have the ability to set defense to 0 as well, so you can sort of weasel that in, but it doesn't go through a full immunity. It doesn't have anything like that. Obviously, there's a lot of good killers in the game, and like Heat and Wire is fun too. He also has that Driven and Striker buff, just like what Kaido has with Strikers as well. Actually, I want to put Kaido here, because he's probably like better than all of these characters. Yeah, you can use it just any Driven or Striker character too. I'm probably going to have to drop some characters down as we sort of keep talking about them, but for now, I'm going to put him up here because I just haven't really taken into consideration what's going on for the rest of this. Next, we've got Sengoku. Sengoku's he's bad, man. He's a fun unit. I will state, Sengoku is a fun unit, and that's pretty much all he is. You have to use, obviously, the Admirals, which is kind of whatever, but he's just a fun guy, but don't worry about him. Whitebeard, again, there's just not enough Whitebeard pirates to make him usable, and what he does is just not worth trying to squeeze some of those characters have low representation into the team, because with his Super Tandem ability, he's only giving a 2x attack boost to Powerhouse and side characters, and then he does like some resistance, but he does have that fun thing about like Powerhouse and Striker characters as well. But yeah, he's just it's whatever. It's just whatever. It's unfortunate, but it's whatever. Next we've got Sanji, one of the newer characters to come out for the Memories of the Straw Hat campaign, and we also have Robin, who has Super Tandem at the moment as well. Both these characters are Psy, and both of them are free spirits, which is very, very interesting. Now, eventually you will collect them on tickets, which is fun, and both of them, I believe, is only used on the final stage. Problem is, you need 3 of the following characters for Sanji at level 5. It's like Zeph, Reiju, Pudding, Ivankov, and then any of the Straw Hat characters. He only gives a 2.25 attack boost to Fighter Free Spirit, and then can further increase crew's damage boosts. So he does like increase everything by 0.2, I believe, which is really fun. That ability is actually kind of fun, but the problem is you need 3 characters to tap into Sanji, which is absolutely nuts to get that. So I'm gonna put him in the back end just because that damage boost thing could actually be ridiculously powerful. But I don't know, I just can't really see a world where you want to try and squeeze 3 of those characters or tap with 3 of those characters to get the most out of his ability, rather than actually just utilizing something else that only needs 2 taps. The big problem with characters that need like 3 units is that you are losing a lot of damage with those first 3 characters. Next, you got Robin, and she's the same. She's got 3 units, but she uses like Crocodile. She's Psy, Cerebral, and Fighter. She's not a free spirit booster, and she does a lot of stuff with damage reduction. Don't worry about her. Like hers is bad. Like at least Sanji does like an increased buff to damage buffs, but hers is kind of whatever. Next, we got this 6+ Luffy, the Super Tandem Luffy 6+. This one actually got changed. His Super Tandem ability changed from the original one, which is this one right here. Both of them are still built around free spirit characters. However, at level 5, this particular Luffy now has the addition of setting the defense to 0, I believe, or no, 80%, that goes through full immunity, which is very, very nice. Plus, his tandem attack boosts Dex, Free Spirit, and Fighter characters, which is really, really good. Like, it's very, very good. And the reason it's very, very good is because, sure, setting defense to like low is not exactly the best at setting it to 0. You might have another character that's already doing that, but you can tandem this into something like a Final Tap with like Final Tap Lore that has a crazy 3 times multiplier to the defense down if the enemy has some sort of intimidation. So the main gimmick is that 2.5 times attack boost. You do need 2 of the following characters, and I believe you need one of them to be Zoro, Sanji, Ace, Sabo, or Shanks? No, Shanks and Roger are just like part of it, I believe. So I can definitely see this being very, very strong with something like Final Tap Lore. So yeah, but that's basically all of the how's it going characters, I believe I'm going to call them, because as you can see, I've been skipping over and I've been leaving some of the craziness for the end. So because of this, we have 6 characters to slide in on this tier list, and we don't have that many spots left. So by default, we're going to have to bring down these particular characters like this. I think that's probably fair. As for other characters that I would move up into this tier, I would probably move Ace and Sabo up a little bit. But if you want to go off sort of like the rest and sort of just go back to our top 20 situation, I would probably just put all of these characters down here. Like, it's kind of whatever. Like, it's just, it is what it is. Like, yeah, it is what it is. So, there's that. I might be counting wrong, and obviously we'll go back over it before we get there, so we'll go from there. But as for the last 6 units that I do want to talk about, we have Nami, Super Tandem Zoro, Kid Killer, not Kid Killer, Law Kid, Super Sugo. We have Zoro Sanji, Anniversary Exclusive, Roger, and then we also have Yamato. I'm gonna start off with Yamato. Yamato's probably the weakest of these, but I definitely wanted to include her because she's still very, very good. Now, as we've had more and more Super Tandems in the game, I have been screaming at people to save 2 copies of some particular characters, and Yamato versus Yamato is one of those characters. And the reason that is because her Super Tandem characters actually clash with other characters in the game. And what I mean by that is whoever has the Tandem Orb, and depending on what order you tap in, will trigger a certain Super Tandem ability. So, we have, say, Yamato, for example. She needs 2 of the following characters, being basically any of the Straw Hats, Ace and Momonosuke. If you have another Super Tandem that has any of the Straw Hats in it, and you tap with Yamato first, but say, for example, you want to use Luffy's Super Tandem, it's going to trigger Yamato's. So, it can affect your tap timing and where you want to go with it. Also, for example, if you have a Luffy and you tap Luffy Law, and Luffy has the Tandem Orb, and then you tap into Yamato, it's actually going to trigger Law's Tandem ability. So you just need to be very careful when you are building your teams and where your Tandem Orb is and stuff like that, because some of them can clash. But Yamato still has a very good Super Tandem. So 2.25 times attack boosted strikers and free spirit characters, and then she can apply a 1.3 times increased damage taken that goes through full immunity. So very, very powerful ability just to apply it, increased damage taken. This is great if the enemy has full immunity and you can't apply it, and you just sort of utilizing Yamato on the team, and she's already there. She has some very, very nice stuff. So great Super Tandem ability there. Next, we've got Zoro and Sanji. And honestly, Zoro Sanji, I'm going to put up here in my 3rd spot. Zoro Sanji, sitting in the 3rd spot, is primarily built around the fact that the character is so good. The character is used on pretty much like every single team when it comes to damage output. So having his Super Tandem maxed out, it's basically a no-brainer. Like, it's something that you just want to make sure that you do, because they have that stupidly strong special ability. Their special gives a massive chain buff, and then their Super Tandem ability just gives a massive attack buff to Free Spirit and Slash units, which they can make Free Spirit and Slasher. But they also have ability to increase the orb multiplier of Rainbow, Wano, Dex, Tandem Orbs into 2.75, which is a pretty new mechanic, and not a lot of other characters can actually do. If you already apply this, though, obviously it does weaken what Zoro Sanji is doing as a tandem, but any tandem ability is going to be super effective, no matter what you're using. And the upside to Zoro Sanji is you can use theirs every single turn. Their swap gives Tandem Orbs. You do need to include a Luffy or a Yamato in their tandem ability, so you have to sort of funnel them in, but 9 times out of 10, you have a Luffy on the team anyway. So Zoro Sanji, they're going to take my 3rd spot because their versatility, the usefulness, the strength of it is just, it's a very, very powerful Super Tandem ability. Like a very, very powerful one. Next, we've got Kid and Law. Kid Law are actually ridiculously strong, and Kid Law for high damage teams, which is stereotypically why you want to use a tandem ability anyway, is ridiculously powerful. Their super tandem at level 5 does require you to have 2 of the following characters and be at the final stage. Basically, it's any of the Straw Hats, and then like the Kid Pirates and the Law Pirates. Well, it's not really. It's just like Killer and Beppo, and then you must include Luffy, Killer, or Beppo in their taps. So that other character can be anyone, and then you just have to have one of those 3. But their tandem attack boosts make Sight into Tandem Wars matching slots, but then they give a 2.75 times attack boost to Sight and Int characters. Now, 9 times out of 10, you're only utilizing these guys on a Sight or an Int-based team. The only other time is when you're using them on a Gear 5, 6 Plus team, as a Rainbow team. It doesn't matter because Gear 5, 6 Plus is the one that does all the damage there, so you're still getting the benefit. 2.75 is massive. Like, it's so damn strong. Obviously, it doesn't come with all of those other effects, like Zoro Sanji getting the 2.75 times orbs. It's just a raw 2.75, which is still very, very powerful. And this has made high damage teams like crazy higher, purely from this ability, because if you're already bringing some of those other abilities like I mentioned, so for example with Yamato, if you're already bringing an increased damage taken, like that extra part of her ability doesn't matter. If you're already bringing a conditional booster, that part of her ability doesn't matter. If you're already bringing that 2.75 times orb buff with something like say Gear 5, 6 Plus who can actually do that, again, this doesn't actually matter. They're just at 2.5. So the 2.75, that raw damage is going to be better. This is the highest attacking, like pure base value, highest super tandem ability. Like it is the strongest on paper when you look at it as a raw number. That is the strongest. That one right there, which is very, very good, very, very good. And next we got the final 3, and this is probably going to hurt a lot of people, but I'm going to put Zoro in number 4. The only reason Zoro is in number 4 is because this guy exists. Zoro's ability on paper is the second strongest, in my opinion. Zoro's ability has, his Super Tandem ability has a 2.5 times attack boost to Free Spirit and Slashes, and then will increase conditional boost by 0.25. He's a conditional booster himself, which is great, and obviously with the double stacking conditional meta, this guy is so ridiculously powerful. Like, it's absolutely absurd what you can do. A 2.5 times attack boost, you get 2 conditional boosts, and then you can increase them both by 0.25. Not a lot of characters in the game will actually increase that by 0.25, or by anything, so you have no real clash in the game. The problem is that 9 times out of 10, you're going to be bringing Zoro and Sanji, so there's nowhere to put this guy on the team. It's so annoying. So you could easily say to me, yeah, sure, it's talking pure Super Tandem abilities, Zoro is better than Zoro Sanji. However, there's no point maxing out a character that you are never going to use. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It does not make any sense at all. So, unfortunately, I want to drop him into the 4 to 10 range, because, like, you could honestly argue, like, this, to me, like, because, again, Zoro's usability, because this character exists, is a huge problem. Like, it is what it is. But, in saying that still, like, I still think that, on paper, he has the second strongest raw damage output. It's this guy. Like, very, very good. Very, very good unit. I don't want to take away that from Zoro, but, unfortunately, since this guy's release, I have not used Super Tandem Zoro once. It just sucks. He's a great unit, fantastic unit actually, but it is what it is. Next, we got the last 2 being Roger and Nami. Now, Roger is the newest anniversary exclusive. Nami is the queen of Super Tandems. As we mentioned with Zoro, Nami's power, in terms of what she does with her Super Tandem, is the strongest output in the game. It will give you the biggest numbers. If you bring 2 conditional buffs, then you use Nami Super Tandem, she increases them by 0.5. She's a Super Tandem, a conditional buffer herself, which is fantastic, because then she can increase her own her own conditional by 0.5. But she's only a 2.25 attack boost, which is a little bit lower. It's only a little bit lower, don't get me wrong, it's still strong. It's just a little bit lower. 9 times out of 10, in terms of the best Super Tandem in the game, most people will tell you that Nami has the best Super Tandem. And yes, I would definitely agree with you. Nami has the strongest Super Tandem ability. Most of the time, you're going to want to try and include Nami on a team if you are looking for raw damage. Problem with Nami. Getting a Tandem Mob is a massive problem, unless you're using her as a captain. As a captain, she can generate her own Tandem Orb, and it works absolutely hunky-dory. If you're only running 1 conditional boost, though, Zoro is going to just be your man. He's going to be a little bit better. Nami doesn't really have that many other Namis to compete with in the game, and when you are running a side team, you can easily build Nami on the team and then bring Gear 5. However, I'm going to say she's got the second best Super Tandem ability in the game, purely because where we are right now in One Piece Treasure Cruise, running Nami as a captain does hit a little bit different. It's a little bit hard to get that tandem orb with Nami, where, for example, these particular characters can just give tandem orbs in particular ways that make it very, very easy to use their super tandem. Again, if we're talking on paper in terms of the best super tandem ability, raw damage super tandem ability, we have Nami. We have with Zoro, they're very, very strong. But that problem of not getting a tandem orb super accessibly unless you're using her as captain has been a little bit of a problem for me, and it has created a little bit of an issue here and there. So, unfortunately, for me, I am going to bring Nami down to second. And that means that I have the Covenant Roger as the best super tandem in the game. I do think Roger has taken over as the best super tandem for a bunch of different reasons. Firstly, he's a 2.25 times attack boost to Dex Slasher Powerhouse characters, and he changes the attack multiplier of Dex Sign in orbs to 2.5 times when they match. Very similar to what this particular unit here does. So straight away, you have the 2.25, the same as what Nami does in terms of just raw damage output. Now, Nami needs 2 characters to trigger her super tandem. Roger, he only needs 1. You can tap with 1 unit and then go into Roger and you activate his super tandem. That means you have 5 units hitting with a 2.25 and a 2.5 multiplier for orbs. Again, just like Zoro Sanji, if you have another character that can make these orbs higher, then sure, you're probably going to use them. And 9 times out of 10, I'm probably going to find a way to use Zoro Sanji over something like Roger. Like, I don't doubt that. At max, though, Roger is going to be much easier to use. Plus, Roger has synergy with 3 of the best characters in the game. Zoro Sanji, being one of the best characters in the game, obviously has synergy with himself, and then obviously Gear 5 as well, which is great. But Roger has synergy with the 3 Super Sugo units that have very powerful rush abilities. Now, the best way to build out a team for damage output is to try and bring a rush unit, a super tandem unit, and a final tap unit on the team. And Roger just slides into 3 teams very simply and very easily to get a lot of damage output with this super tandem ability. And the problem is with it only buffs Dex, Slash, and Powerhouse characters. So if you're running like a Luffy team, you kind of have to make sure that everyone else is Powerhouse, or everyone else is Slashes, or everyone else is something else. But Luffy and that have the ability to sort of change their classes and do all that fun stuff as well. So Roger, he's going to be very, very nice in terms of just bringing a lot of damage for these particular teams. The upside to Roger as well, his special gives himself a tandem orb, which he gives the super lock to. So he super locks that tandem orb, so you can just make sure you have this on the final stage ready to go. Plus, Roger's special will give an attack buff, it'll give an orb buff, it'll give a color affinity buff, depending on whichever team you're running him on. Or if you're running him as a captain, you can actually get all 3 of them, which is really, really nice. 9 times out of 10, your super tandem characters aren't going to be your captains. Nami is probably the only exception for that. Other than that, like, everyone else is sort of like fulfilling a role on the team to sort of build up the damage multipliers. Upside to Roger too is he can bypass the Super Block Wano and Semler shenanigans. So if you have characters that are bringing you Wano orbs and then use Roger, he's still going to give himself a tandem orb. And this accessibility to get the tandem orb to then apply a tandem ability on the final stage is what makes Roger the best super tandem ability. It's the best super tandem ability in the game, in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think down below. Do you guys agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Honestly, like, if you guys said this was the best super tandem, like this, I would probably say, yeah, I can see it. If it was something like this, I'd be like, yeah, I can see it. Hell, if you had something like this, I could probably say, yes, I can see it. For myself, though, I think Zoro Sanji is probably one that you're going to want to use a little bit more. So, like, the longer I've been sitting here, the more I want to do this, if I'm completely honest with you guys. But yeah, honestly, I think I am. I think I'm gonna swap Nami and Zoro Sanji. Because Zoro Sanji, just their accessibility and the way that they work is just, it's so damn nice. Again, pure power output. You've got Zoro and Nami sitting right there. You've got Kid Killer, which is great. Kid Killer can make tandem orbs very, very easily. But the functionality of Zoro Sanji and Roger, just and what they do with the matching orbs and stuff, it's so damn strong. Like I said, let me know down below what you guys think. If you agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, though, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. Bell like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one.